With the WINN FM News, I am Yulana Weeks. Locally, a new deal for the Ritz-Carlton Hotel set for 2025 in St. Kitts. 2 new monarchs crowned at the Greenhouse Band Junior Calypso competition. Funding from the government of Switzerland supports the Joy Project. Police sentenced to 3.5 years imprisonment. Kevon Wood's fight touched the hearts of many. The details and more straight ahead. Prime Minister Dr. Terence Drew, during the 2025 fiscal year budget address, made the grand announcement that the Ritz-Carlton Hotel will be coming to St. Kitts in 2025. The hotel, from its construction onward to operations, is expected to bring employment, boost economic activity, and potentially position St. Kitts and Nevis as a destination of distinction, innovation, and opportunity.
I am thrilled to announce that after much negotiations, that after much of putting the right things in place before this announcement is made, that we have brought together a joint press release that we will have here in St. Kitts to start construction in 2025, a brand new Ritz-Carlton Hotel. Madam Speaker, this is not merely the addition of another hotel. It is a statement of confidence in St. Kitts' future, a catalyst for economic transformation, and a testament to the island's limitless potential, Madam Speaker. This world-class development will redefine our tourism product, blending the iconic Ritz-Carlton experience with the unique cultural heritage and natural beauty of St. Kitts, and of course Nevis as well. Its impact will be profound, creating jobs, Madam Speaker. This will affect the economy, and our people will definitely benefit.
Prime Minister Drew hailed the Ritz-Carlton Hotel as a global symbol of luxury and excellence and said the investment emphasizes the confidence that people have in the Federation under his administration. The hotel will be constructed at Friars Bay. Under a previous deal in 2018 between the Team Unity administration and Ritz-Carlton, it was announced that the hotel brand would develop 10 villas and 15 condominiums within the Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis, but significant progress was not made after the announcement. Edward Mighty J. Williams sang his way to the Greenhouse Band Junior Calypso Monarch title for secondary schools on Sunday evening, December 15, 2024. Singing from a competitive field of 7, Williams delivered a strong rendition of his song This Is the Time to amass winning points of 432, forcing the 2023 Monarch Starboy Nicholas into the second runner-up spot with 404 points. In the first runner-up position was Lady B with 417 points. Dickwan scored 356 points for the third runner-up position. In the primary school category, also held on December 15, Adia Inanga under the sobriquet Adia captured the hearts of the judges with an exciting and energetic performance of the song Different. She was crowned monarch with 406 points. Following closely behind in the first runner-up position was Mighty Zen, the 2023 monarch, with 402 points. Super Knowledge and Prince Kai tied on 373 points, and the tiebreaker policy was implemented to decide the positions. Under the policy, the judges decided on the positions using a majority vote system. No judge was allowed to abstain from the voting process. Following the vote, Super Knowledge was awarded the second runner-up position and Prince Kai the third runner-up position. The next generation of Calypso stars executed their talents on stage before a large gathering at the St. Kitts Marriott Resort atrium. The Joy Project, the brainchild of Mrs. Diani Prince Drew, received a donation of US $10,000 from the government of Switzerland. Mr. Ernest Amery, Honorary Consul General of Switzerland, made the presentation days following the official launch of the Joy Project on December 5. Mrs. Prince Drew said the partnership with the government of Switzerland symbolizes shared values and a commitment to improving lives. Quote, "The Swiss government has long championed the values of equity, compassion, and meaningful collaboration, principles that perfectly complement our mission to uplift, empower, and bring joy to vulnerable members of our society. This donation will go a long way in supporting our initiatives as we strive to make a lasting difference in the lives of those who need it most. Together, we are not only addressing immediate needs, but also building brighter, more equitable communities. We are proud to partner with the government of Switzerland and look forward to continuing this journey of bringing joy and hope to our people. Thank you for believing in our mission and joining hands with us to make a tangible impact." Unquote. The Joy Project aims to provide hope and joy for every Kittitian and Nivision, expressed Mrs. Prince Drew, the wife of Prime Minister Dr. Terence Drew, at the foundation's launch.
My hope for the Joy Project is that it becomes a transformative force in St. Kitts and Nevis. I hope that it leaves a lasting legacy of upliftment, of empowerment, and of joy, creating joy for everyone. I want it to touch every Kittitian, every Nivision, in whatever way that is, whether it's big or small. I really just want to encourage you to keep supporting the Joy Project. There's power in partnership, and we really need partnerships to get things done.
Months before its official launch, the Joy Project had already begun making an impact on society with its Cool Schools initiative. This initiative involves fans and water distribution to schools to create a comfortable learning environment for students and teachers. Mrs. Prince Drew, a native of St. Vincent and the Grenadines, was compelled to establish the foundation to show love and gratitude to the people of her new home, St. Kitts and Nevis. The Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis was plunged into mourning, having learnt of the passing of Kevon Wood on Sunday morning, December 15 at 4:20 a.m. The story of an unfortunate incident at Pinnies Beach, Nevis on Sunday, May 6, 2024, touched the hearts of many people, which sparked a whole nationwide effort to ensure that Kevon Wood received urgent medical attention. The prayers of many, fundraisers, GoFundMe donations, and the Children's Medical Fund made it all possible. Kevon's father, Devon Wood, also known as DJ Woody, ensured to keep the community abreast of his son's journey from beginning to end. The St. Kitts and Nevis community was deeply invested in the lad's recovery process, from the notice of the incident, his airlift to Trinidad, up until his last days. Within the last 24 hours of his life, Kevon was admitted to the intensive care unit at the Georgetown Public Hospital in Guyana. Devon said his son suffered 3 heart attacks and was resuscitated twice, but didn't make it through the 3rd attempt. The broken-hearted father reached out to Prime Minister Dr. Terence Drew and Premier Mark Brantley and officially informed them of his son's passing. Kevon was a beneficiary of the Children's Medical Fund, an initiative of the Prime Minister's office. Having learned of the teen's passing, Drew expressed condolences to the loved ones and noted, quote, "I take this opportunity to extend my deepest condolences to his parents, family members, friends, and the wider community. I am grateful that the fund was able to support Kevon and his family during such a critical time. While we may not be able to save every child, each one deserves a fighting chance at life. Let us come together to support those grieving this profound loss." Unquote. Premier Brantley also expressed condolences, noting, quote, "I join all of Nevis and St. Kitts and the Guyanese community in extending deepest sympathies to Woody and Sheena and their entire family. While I did not know young Kevon personally, his terrible accident and the subsequent courageous fight for recovery have touched the hearts of our nation. May his soul rest in eternal peace, and may the prayers of the multitude comfort his family in this difficult time." Unquote. Hundreds more citizens and residents in St. Kitts and Nevis have surrounded the family with expressions of love and comfort and shared their heartbreak, as they too had become emotionally attached to the teen through the unfortunate incident. Despite scores of public appearances of Kevon's father, his mother, Sheena Wood, had been giving the necessary compassion and care to their son over the past 7 months. She was prayerful, hopeful, and willing to take the journey to recovery with her son and one day return to Nevis, where they call home. The mother, in tribute to her son, said, quote, "I'm very happy I was given the opportunity to be by your side from day one, up until you took your last breath. I now have a guardian angel watching over me. I will forever love you, my firstborn." Unquote. On May 5, 2024, Kevon Wood dived into the sea at Pinnies Beach and was unconscious for a few minutes before it became noticeable to anyone. Efforts were made to resuscitate him, while calls were made to 911. Kevon Wood was transported to the Alexandra Hospital via ambulance. The results of a CT scan and an X-ray showed water in Kevon's lungs and dislocated bones in his neck, which caused him to become paralyzed from the neck down and left him breathing with the assistance of a respirator. Considering the severity of his condition, he was urgently airlifted to Trinidad in an air ambulance, accompanied by his mom, Sheena Wood, on May 8, 2024. A policeman was sentenced to 3 years and 6 months in His Majesty's prison after an elderly woman died of injuries sustained in a hit-and-run incident at New River in Nevis. The victim was 80-year-old Florence Ella Merchant, who was struck by a car and was later found injured at the roadside by a passerby on July 15, 2023. The woman succumbed to her injuries 2 days later. Brent Edwards was charged with causing death by dangerous driving and failing to immediately stop at the scene of an accident. Edwards appeared before a Charlestown High Court on December 13, where he pleaded guilty to the charges. In addition to his prison sentence, His Lordship Justice Patrick Thompson Jr. ordered the suspension of Edwards' driver's license for 3 years. He is required to complete a driving course before being eligible to regain his license. Edwards' sentencing was met with just as much outrage as in the aftermath of the incident, as people on social media and radio questioned the sentencing guidelines. A maximum penalty of 5 years imprisonment is laid out in the books for the charge of causing death by dangerous driving. And while some individuals questioned why didn't the driver receive the maximum penalty, others suggested that lawmakers revise the sentencing guidelines. Some persons expressed that 3.5 years of imprisonment is not enough time for a driver of any vehicle who hits someone, drives off, and does not render aid. One commenter expressed, quote, "Not enough time. It should have been more. There are so many laws in St. Kitts and Nevis that need revision," unquote. Another commenter said, quote, "3.5 years is not way enough time. I think as a police, he should get more time. Instead of upholding the law, he broke it in the worst way, leaving the scene and that poor lady," unquote. A third commenter noted, quote, "The maximum penalty for causing death by dangerous driving is 5 years imprisonment in St. Kitts. That's right. 5 years is the most you can get for killing someone by dangerous driving. For the same offense in the UK, the maximum is life imprisonment. In Canada and some Australian states, the maximum is 14 years or 20 years. If you plead guilty in St. Kitts to any offense, the law says you can get a discount of up to 33% from the sentence. If you're unhappy with the penalty for causing death by dangerous driving, then ask your parliamentary representatives what they are doing about it," unquote. The hit-and-run involving the elderly woman was recorded as the 5th of 7 road tragedies that occurred in the Federation in 2023. Regionally,
the government is prepared to cooperate with U.S. officials if an extradition request is made. This assurance comes from National Security Minister Wayne Monroe. While leaving the House of Assembly on Wednesday, Monroe addressed questions about the government's stance on the recent U.S. indictment. The indictment implicates several Bahamians, including members of the armed forces, alleging their involvement in facilitating the trafficking of illegal drugs and firearms through the Bahamas and into the United States. Additionally, there are allegations of a potential $2 million payout to a high-ranking Bahamian politician.
The Prime Minister said if and when the U.S. decide to move and request their extradition, we will abide by the rules that govern this land. This country is under the rule of law, so we will follow all of the laws and rules. Whenever and if ever that happens, we will act in accordance with the law.
Monroe also addressed concerns about those persons skipping town.
Unless and until we have reason to detain you, we can't interfere with your movements. Wherever they go, there will be extradition arrangements with the United States of America. It is a matter, as the Prime Minister has said, that the indictment is a serious allegation. Persons will have their day in court when that arrives, and the law will take its course.
The Bar of Arima and by extension the nation have been plunged into mourning as we confirm a sitting member of Parliament has tragically died. CNC3 News was at the scene this morning. Janelle Bernard brings this report.
The country awoke to the devastating news that Minister in the Ministry of Education and Deputy O'Meara MP Lisa Morris Julian perished in a fire at her Fafon Street Arima home early this morning. According to reports, Morris Julian, along with her two children ages 25 and 6, died in the fire that ravaged their home. Her husband and two other relatives were also injured in the fire and are said to be in the intensive care unit at hospital. As news began to spread, family, friends, members of parliament and constituents gathered at the Fafon Street home. Member of Parliament for Aruka Maloney Camille Robinson Regis was inconsolable as she arrived. Prime Minister Dr. Keith Rowley was also among dozens of her colleagues there. In an official statement, Dr. Rowley expressed condolences on her passing as he joined the nation in trying to come to grips with the shocking news. He described Morris Julian as humble, caring, and one of the finest representatives, and promised to provide the family with whatever is needed at this time. Just 2 weeks ago, Morris Julian was screened and re-elected by the PNM to represent the Deputy O'Meara constituency at the next general election. Other members of parliament and former mayors gathered in prayer as they tried to come to terms with the tragic news. Janelle Bernard, CNC 3 News.
According to the People's National Movement, Minister Morris Julian entered the political landscape in 2013 when she successfully contested the Arima Central District in the local government election. In 2015, she was appointed as the Deputy Mayor of Arima and was later appointed as the second female Mayor of Arima in 2016. She was reappointed as Mayor in 2019, and from 2020 to her time of death, she represented the constituency of Deputy O'Meara in the lower house.
The government is prepared to cooperate with U.S. officials if an extradition request is made. This assurance comes from National Security Minister Wayne Monroe. While leaving the House of Assembly on Wednesday, Monroe addressed questions about the government's stance on the recent U.S. indictment. The indictment implicates several Bahamians, including members of the armed forces, alleging their involvement in facilitating the trafficking of illegal drugs and firearms through the Bahamas and into the United States. Additionally, there are allegations of a potential $2 million payout to a high-ranking Bahamian politician.
The Prime Minister has said if and when the U.S. decide to move and request their extradition, we will abide by the rules that govern this land. This country is under the rule of law, so we will follow all of the laws and rules. Whenever and if ever that happens, we will act in accordance with the law.
Monroe also addressed concerns about those persons skipping town.
Unless and until we have reason to detain you, we can't interfere with your movements. Wherever they go, there will be extradition arrangements with the United States of America. It is a matter, as the Prime Minister has said, that the indictment is a serious allegation. Persons will have their day in court when that arrives, and the law will take its course.
Internationally,
Canada's finance minister quit on Monday, dealing another major political blow to Prime Minister Justin Trudeau's already unpopular government. Chrystia Freeland said in a stinging resignation letter that she was quitting in the wake of a meeting last Friday with Trudeau, who had asked her to take on a lesser post after the two had argued for weeks over spending. In a letter posted to social media, Freeland said the possibility of new U.S. tariffs represented a grave threat. She wrote, "That means keeping our fiscal powder dry today, so we have the reserves we may need for a tariff war. That means eschewing costly political gimmicks, which we can ill afford." Her resignation came just hours before she was due to present an economic update to Parliament. The Finance Ministry said in November Canada's budget deficit for the first 6 months of the 2024-2025 fiscal year had jumped by more than a half to $9.28 billion. Freeland also served as Deputy Prime Minister, and her resignation leaves Trudeau without a key ally in cabinet at a critical juncture. She joins a wave of cabinet ministers who have either already quit or announced they won't run in the next election. Approval ratings indicate Trudeau would lose badly to the opposition Conservatives in the next election, which must be held before the end of October 2025. One potential replacement could be former Bank of Canada Governor Mark Carney, who serves as economic advisor to Trudeau. Carney, though, is not a legislator, and tradition would dictate that he would need to run for a seat in the House of Commons. Before entering politics in 2013, Freeland worked as a journalist and in senior editorial roles with several media companies, including the Financial Times, the Globe and Mail, and Reuters News, where she worked from 2010 to 2013.
Another school shooting in the United States, this one in Wisconsin. We understand that 5 people are dead, 5 are injured. The Madison police say that they believe the shooter was someone they describe as a juvenile and is among the dead.
Today, around 10:57 a.m., our officers were responding to a call of an active shooter at the Abundant Life Christian School here in Madison. When officers arrived, they found multiple victims suffering from gunshot wounds. We train on this almost quarterly. The last time we trained on this as commanders was approximately 2 weeks ago. The protocols are simple. Stop the killing, stop the dying, find out who's doing this. And the officers did that, and they did that adamantly. We had officers from around the county and around the state that came in support of this particular incident. Officers located a juvenile who they believe was responsible for this deceased in the building. Additionally, the officers began administering life-saving efforts to anyone who was wounded and making sure that those persons were transported.
Well, let's cross to Washington and speak to our North America correspondent, Rowan Bridge. Rowan, I want to begin by correcting myself on those numbers. In fact, I'll let you do that because there's been an update on the figures that we were given a little earlier.
Yeah, that's right. So I can give you the updated figures. We know that the juvenile with a gun was found dead at the scene. 2 other people are known to have been killed. And then the latest figures are there are 6 other people who've been injured. Their injuries range from minor to life-threatening. So 6 people injured, 2 people dead, and the juvenile with the gun also found dead at the school. They are believed to have been a pupil at the school, which catered for children from sort of nursery school age right up to 17, 18-year-olds.
Yes, tell us more about this school then.
Yes, it has about has a few hundred pupils. It's in Madison, which is the state capital of Wisconsin. Police were called there at just before 11 o'clock this morning after reports of a juvenile with a gun. They responded, officers in fact responded from across the state, and other local schools in the area were put into lockdown. Police say they are now combing through the school for evidence, but they say there is no other threat to other local schools. They have now been released from those lockdowns, but it was described as a sad, sad day for the local community by the chief of police in a news conference earlier on. And he said that he said everyone was sending their heartfelt wishes and thoughts to the community. And in fact, he went on to say that the trauma of an incident like this doesn't just go away, and that every person who was in that school at the time was a victim and will be a victim going forward.
Rowan, thank you for that update. Rowan Bridge in Washington for us.